and we'll see if Fnatic have been able to improve upon some of their early game struggles that we saw from last split.
I mean, Incial had similar struggles as well, so they need to be able to show up that early game if they're going to get to the scaling point with this draft. Victor, Zeri, so powerful later on, but...
Quick fun story for you, Medic.
Oh, hit me.
Reached out to Odoamne. Hang on a second, because there's a lot of...
Fight for Prio bot lane. You have to, right? If you want to get any pressure in this lane, you have to keep Advienne and Reckless back a little bit. Incial are trying to do it. Limit will be spotted. Now, XL work their way round.
Oh, Razork's back has been interrupted.
Oh, Reckless saw someone. He knows the VTO's on the way. Oscar in, though, trying to hide behind them here. All on his lonesome, not with his team, and immediately he's bopped to the side. Ignite is sticking on him, but it won't be enough damage. Has to burn the flash to get away.
So already, a couple summoner spells burnt. Oscar in thought that he might find a play by lying in wait behind XL, but it was XL that were able to collapse first. Don't think too much was really lost on the side of XL. And Xerxes is just going to head straight towards his jungle clear. So as both teams look to reset and kind of get ready for the early laning phase, I just have a fun story to share about Odoamne. Yeah. So I reached out to Odoamne, asked him how things are going, how things are looking. You know, he's like, ups and downs, positives, negatives, and all that good jazz. And I was like, well, look at the bright side. You can only go up from here. And he said, well, technically, I could get 10th again. And then I said, and I'm like, huh? And he's like, yep. And then I would be the only team to have gone 10th twice in a row. And then I was like, huh, yeah, suppose it could go down from here.
And they did pick up a win in winter as well.
True.
So if they pick up no wins,
I was like, huh. And he was like, yeah, people don't really think about that when they say that. And I was like, huh. So looking positively then, it's just the optimistic guy that he is.
Oh, sure. Has the opportunity to match his winter total with a win in this game against Fnatic, though.
But one of the things that I will say, and I think that some of the key issues that XL specifically had, was that bot lane just seemed like that they were on a different page, right? Targamas and Patrick didn't feel like a duo that had that same level of synergy that we were used to seeing from Patrick and Mickey. And I think that Limit is a player that is just inherently more aggressive. We know that he's a lot more vocal in terms of his approach to what he brings to a team from his Schalke days, and we know that when paired up with an aggressive player like Patrick, he's the type that will follow up on Patrick's more typical aggression.
And he does like these engaged champions as well. And he just plays into every box you need at the moment as a support. She has engage, she has pokes, she has damage in the lane, she can get prio, unless she's into something like a Heimerdinger, but things like the Nautilus, the Thresh, the Alistair that want to go forward very much in Limit's wheelhouse. So we'll see how much impact he can have in this game. Teaming up alongside Patrick down towards that bottom side at the moment. The push going to Reckless and Advienne as expected. Heimer, very difficult to ever really push out of lane.
We'll see how Advienne's addition to this bot lane has shaped things up as well. We felt like that they were very limited when they were playing alongside Rux. It felt like that he was that very much engaged support in a very ranged support meta, and this bot lane often struggled to find those advantages. But now with Advienne, he's been in the league before. XL, his actual former team, he's no stranger to the LEC. And here are some fun facts about him. Advienne, 25 Dutch, and the last time he was in the LEC, of course, was alongside XL. I seem to fondly remember things like his Rakan back in the day. He was very well known for making those engaged plays himself, but it would be rare to see a support in Europe not be familiar with engaged supports, given our long history.
There's also Advienne against the team that kicked him, right?
Of
Mickey
course.
replaced him on XL last year. And as I say, looking for something in the early game here, can't find it. Neither jungler really has had the opportunity to get a gank after that initial level 1 play. Razork trying to sneak around the vision here, though.
We talked about this.
Now, what Patrick and Limit should do here is hold their spells. Molten Shield just goes down, but you want everything when the wave crashes. Humanoid's already moved from the mid lane. He's down here. TP available for VTO and Odoamne if they want to try and fight. Advienne stunned. There's the TP in, but immediately first blood over to Fnatic. Reckless tanks a single tower shot. Razork will flash as the second one finds its mark, and Fnatic get first blood.
The dive is clean from Fnatic. They're able to make the execution work, and it all comes back to what we were talking about in the early game. They have pushing bot, they have a pushing mid, and it's easy for Humanoid to look for these roams. And they're able to execute it at just the right time. They're able to catch the wave to be able to set up the dive. And I think one of the big things that Limit should have done is just hold on to his stun a little bit longer. The advantage of that Annie is the point and click CC. The second that someone gets that tower aggro, you can immediately lock them up underneath the tower. But he actually used it early onto Advienne, which meant that they could shift the aggro around. Fnatic were able to walk away with a kill. Small gold lead for Fnatic, and overall a good start here in Spring.
And as we have a moment, we'll just talk a little bit about what Limit is doing on this Annie. If you haven't looked at the patch changes over the last couple of patches, Annie has been buffed a little bit. Her E now has greater shield scales better with AP, and also gives more damage back to a single person. So when you attack it, you take a big burst of damage back. Her Tibbers has more health, is very quick when she tries to chase you around as well. So what we see in the support Annie is usually Emax. Often you'll skip your W level 3 and just go 2 points in E, 1 point in Q. That's what Limit's done here. So it's all about trying to control the lane with quite long auto attack range, good poke, good shielding, and then later on in fights, obviously Annie Flash Tibbers is something that has been known of since the dawn of League of Legends.
Oh yeah, for sure. Whenever you have Flash up, you have to be careful. Razork now threatening a dive on top lane. Looking to try and get some resources into Oscarinen's pockets. We'll see if they're able to make anything work here. Humanoid does have the TP, but of course doesn't really have anything to TP to at this point in time. Keep my eyes on the rest of the map. Xerxes bot lane should make this an easy dive.
Odoamne trying to dodge away from this one. Hits the level 6 and immediately Razork and Oscarinen don't want any more of that. The all-out, always a threat. Knocked back with the seismic shove in the mid lane. Chaos Storm comes down. Humanoid needs to walk away from this one. Does still have the flash. Will be able just to escape BTO's clutches. Can base and now TP back into the lane, but he's going to lose a couple of minions. Limit and Xerxes taking the time that they know Razork is up towards that top side to make sure that the first objective of the game is secured for Excel.
So perhaps a couple stage nerves there for Oscarinen. He just whiffed the ultimate. Odoamne walked out of the way. Wasn't forced to spend the ghost or really anything. And the moment that ultimate didn't connect made it harder for Razork to commit. That will cost Fnatic a Drake in the bot side of the map. And at the end of the day, not the worst situation for Fnatic to find themselves in. Pretty even game state across the board outside of that one kill that we saw bot. But now look, once again, Humanoid and Razork grouping up, moving into the bot side river.
Oscarinen can just jump away from that one. Odo now with the ghost trying to chase in. Oscarinen had the flash, didn't even burn it. Odoamne showing Oscarinen what it's like on the LEC stage, picks up the solo kill.
Yeah, and that's the difference with experience, I feel. Odoamne, of course, with his many years of confidence, he knows how to take advantage of any small mistake that you make. And he was very quick to punish Oscarinen there. Reminiscent of Odoamne when he started last split, where he was finding himself with a solo kill here and there, in particular on the Cassante as well.
It's one of those traditional Cassante plays, you know, Q3, knock them back, minion wave is just outside of tower range, and then you use your ultimate to drag them back underneath the tower. We've seen it tried and tested, and works for Odoamne in this game. And the question is, can Fnatic continue to keep the pace of this game up? The roaming from Humanoid and Razork has been pretty strong. Got that kill down towards the bottom side. Razork was looking for another gank up towards top. Obviously that didn't work out, and for the moment, looks like he is just going to go for a clear of his jungle. Red buff there for him. And then could perhaps look up towards top where Odo has no sums.
Well, now we're looking at Herald, right?
True.
We're hitting that 8-minute mark. You can see Limit choosing to back early. He is a little bit behind in XP versus Advienne. And the awkward thing for XL right now is that Patrick hasn't had an opportunity to base. Only now is he proccing that recall, and you can see Reckless already making his way towards the objective. Odoamne will be the one to start things off, but no summoners, no ult. Could be the window that Fnatic needs to start this fight.
Razork has his ult. Humanoid has his as well, the Weaver's Wall. Handy, quite decisive in fights like this. Glacial Prism hits, but the rest of Fnatic not quite in the area to jump on it. Fnatic, though, will force VTO away. Riftherald resets as her patience expires. She'll run back towards the pit. Does a little bit of charging.
Not resetting.
Yeah, now she'll reset.
She's resetting.
Has to reset the patience entirely. Riftherald, not like some of the jungle camps where you can kind of juggle it a little bit. We'll reset there, and Fnatic tried to find it, couldn't find much more with Patrick joining up with XL. I think Fnatic might have accepted that having used this Sejuani ultimate, they don't really want to look for another fight.
Yeah, so it's a bit awkward for Fnatic now because they kind of committed a little too early. They had a numbers advantage, but Oscarinen needed to catch that top wave. Odoamne had already started the objective off, and after the Herald ended up getting reset, it bought enough time for Patrick to actually make his way up, spend some of that money, and then with the numbers contest Fnatic. So now XL, with their second objective of the game, they've been able to claw a very small gold lead for the time being. So Fnatic is using this window to control the bot side of the map. Maybe they can find a pick onto Patrick or Limit, but if nothing else, they should be able to funnel a few more plates into Reckless.
That will be his second of the game down towards this bottom. So you can see he's already about 900 gold ahead. Will probably be sitting up near the top of the total gold charts. Actually pressed the wrong button there, so I'm going to bring up the button that I intended to press. You can see leading over Odoamne, even though he's only got that assist. And the question for Fnatic is now, the early game, we're transitioning out of it, right? Humanoid and Razork tried to do some stuff, tried to find some ganks, weren't as effective as perhaps they would like to be. XL will try and open up the map with this Rift Herald, you have to assume, and how do Fnatic now deal with the fact that XL don't have to just assign lanes as per usual. If they can open up one of these towers.
Well, I mean, I don't think Fnatic, when we talked about scaling, sure, I think it's fair to argue that XL do have better scaling, but I don't think it's so dramatic that Fnatic won't have options. I still think that when you look at things, especially like a Heimerdinger, Talia, you have so much poke at your disposal, and these champions are very difficult to face check, right? Like, we've all had that experience where you're trying to go towards the dragon, and then, oh, there's one Heimerdinger turret here in the brush, and, well, then you end up getting one shot because you didn't realize that Heimerdinger was in the other bush right next to it. So, especially with the Talia as well, it's just very difficult. So being first on the objective is really important, and I think that Fnatic have the tools to be able to get that. It's getting it harder when Vito especially gets that upgrade on his E, once he gets fully stacked, which based on the number of stacks that he has, I believe, yeah, well, he should have already gotten his first stack, which means that he now has the upgraded E, and he should be able to just instantly wave clear. Normally it's around 8.5 minutes to 9 minutes. Yeah, there you go, where you get that first upgrade.
You know, don't the colors of the icons change?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so we could see that the color is more orangey now.
Yeah, but I thought it was... I mean, oh, yeah, you're talking about the icons. You can also just look above his bar and go see the little icon.
Oh, true.
But I just... You know, it's, you know, fun fact.
It's a good
8.5 minutes is the usual on average, assuming you're farming okay.
So for me, it would be like 12 minutes.
Yeah. They will hand that blue buff over to Vito. Dragon is now up and available, and you can look. Fnatic once again first in the objective. Razork looking for a pick.
Glacial Prism's going to hit onto Limit. Very squishy is the Annie. Able to survive there with Multi-Shield. Jumps in for the stun as well. The Chaos Storm is ticking humanoid flashes. Razork looking for the chase. Gets him. With the Winter's Wrath, the Rift Herald will charge in. The plates go over to XL. But the cost of it is Limit's life.
And that's the risk of the face checking that we talked about. Limit survived a lot longer than I was expecting him to. If he'd had level 6, very much could have killed Humanoid there. But Fnatic do walk away with a kill, and they should be able to secure this Dragon as well. But look at Vito, he pushed in mid. The TP now coming out from Humanoids. Are XL really going to try and contest this? Remember that they are a man down right now. Limit on his way back.
Yeah, no Tibbers though for Limit. We'll have that stun fully recharged as he's just respawned.
TPs
teleport
soon.
Available for Oscarinin. It looks like the Dragon will just be secured. Oscarinin would struggle to teleport away from Odoamne as he continues to fight up towards that top lane. But for the moment, it's a Dragon apiece. Rift Herald used as well, and the gold basically even. Fnatic have about 400 extra, and most of that sitting on Reckless on this Xayah.
Yeah, so Fnatic should be looking at this bot tower now. They want to progress the game forward. They want to unlock this bot lane as much as they can, as Odoamne looking for another kill in top.
Oscarinin will go Mega here with the Wallop. There's the Gnar, but Odo dodges it beautifully there, uses the unstoppability. VTO coming in as well. Oscarinin trying to flash away, but this should be all done. But the Gnar falling. VTO tanks it, Odoamne takes it. Meanwhile, the bot lane dive didn't really materialize. In the end, Xerxes was here to stop Razork's advances. And Limit's waiting around the corner with the Tibbers. One turret plate remains for Fnatic if they want to push further. Humanoid's on his way down.
I think Fnatic's main goal here is just the turret. They don't need to get any kills. Xerxes is providing that cover, but you can see them just focusing on chipping away this tower. Here comes the ult from Humanoid.
Humanoid looking to get behind them. Glacial Prism hits, Limit gets the stun under the tower into the explosive cast, and it's enough for Razork to fall. The tower still stands, Patrick is low, flashes away from Advian who was charging up those rockets. Odo still on the chase here, TP'd into the fight, and he's looking for a little bit more once his third kill of the game. Rooted up for just a second, stopwatch from Humanoid perfectly bashed into by Xerxes, but Humanoid still surviving. Xerxes and Odoamne do not have the damage to take down Fnatic.
Odoamne not having his ultimate there may have been a bit of an overextension for XL, but they're able to get that kill onto Razork and stop that bot tower falling, as Vito was able to catch that top wave as well. Overall, XL definitely coming out on top here, even though the gold staying relatively even.
Reminds me, I watched Avengers recently, and you know the bit where Thanos bleeds and he says, all that for a drop of blood?
Yeah.
It's like, all that for a single turret plate. That's all they were aiming for. Now it's past 40 minutes. That plate won't go down in the bot lane, but the tower still very unsteady on its foundations, should be taken down pretty soon.
So, we talked about it earlier, the risk of diving in Annie is that stun, and ideally with the stun you want to wait to see who takes tower aggro. Lo and behold, it is Razork. The moment the Limit isn't chain CC'd anymore, throws Tibbers down. The barrel follow-up as well from Xerxes means that Razork is completely locked up underneath his tower with no flash, and at this point Odoamne is saying, I have the damage to be able to kill Humanoid, and he would have had Humanoid not had the stopwatch here, which would have likely been enough, but then the full combo comes out from Humanoid, they get that damage down onto Limit. Odoamne tries changing targets, but he realizes, you know what, without my ulti, I can't really commit to this. So it ends up just being a trade back of kills, but the tower still stands strong-ish. I say strong, it's literally on its last legs. But Fnatic have succeeded in moving their bot lane out into the mid lane now. And this is where we should start seeing Humanoid group up with his jungler once more, look for picks around the map, as he has often been doing in this early game. But props to XL, they don't find themselves at a massive deficit, as they often did. When we look back at some of their early game stats, the two teams did not look very good. You can see that in terms of their ability to secure early objectives, whether it be Herald, Drake, and the amount of time that they spent in early deficits, especially the amount of kills they were able to get in the early game, these two teams were our worst.
I will say these are just general stats. These aren't specifically early, but their early stats didn't look good either. But yes, these two teams very much near the bottom of the barrel in winter. And now they're trying to change things up come spring. Perhaps a new, I don't know, flower, but like bed blooming for them. Something, the birth of new life in spring. Yeah, I mean,
perhaps they'll just open a new Excel spreadsheet. Just start with a clean slate.
True.
Now,
they're
one thing,
Excel fanatics, aren't they?
They certainly are. One of the advantages that XL have in this position is VTO has the teleport, Humanoid does not. So Humanoid is just trying to keep VTO underneath his tower as much as possible, but because of that TP advantage, Fnatic find it very difficult to contest, given Humanoid's current positioning. So XL will secure another objective, and they can likely use that to break open the mid tower. We'll see if that's where they want to direct their focus for the time being. Patrick should have some money to spend. But overall, we're in that neutral state of the mid game where we're now kind of waiting for things like the next dragon to spawn, which is likely where we'll see another big fight.
Oscar is still trying to trade with Onowamne. It's been a little bit of a turbulent first 16 minutes here on the LEC stage for Oscar on that Nard. Does still have team fight threat, of course. Mega Nards into the wall. That's something that every top laner dreams of, but for the moment, sitting 0-2-0 and 1,000 gold in the hole to Odo. The other rookies, or the other newbies to these teams, I guess, Advien's, done a pretty solid job on this Heimer. He's been hitting his rockets, he's been putting his turrets down, done everything you need to do with Heimer in the laning phase, and Limit's been a bit of a punching bag for Fnatic. 1, 3, and 1. It's actually been every single one of his team's deaths so far.
Yep.
Doesn't bode well for the rest of the split, but it is only 17 minutes of gameplay. In the past, we were mocked for taking results off a best of one. I think half of a best of one is something we should definitely be mocked for as well.
Now XL doing as we expected, dropping that Herald mid to open up the tower, and you can see how much easier it is for them to get this control now when VTO has a few more levels underneath his belt, and how quickly he just clears out these waves, especially with Limit right beside him. Fnatic, if they attempt and engage, the Annie's there to provide support. Now, there are good wards from Fnatic. You can see them littered around the bot side of the map. And are we going to threaten a TP here? Of course, not available just yet, but it should be up any minute. But this gives Fnatic options. As I say that, they're grouping up as 5 and they're making their way into the river.
Only second dragon of the game for either of these two teams. XL trying to set up around it, already down to 6,000. Fnatic stepping in, Glacial Prison, a possibility. It hits onto Xerxes. They dive forward. The tip is coming out as well. Everyone dodges to the all-out as well from Onowamne. Isolator Azul all on his lonesome, and XL walk out with a kill on the jungler. Now they turn their eyes back towards the dragon. Fnatic continue to poke and to prod and to pry their way into something, but Reckless is having none of it. He's already gone to get the mid lane prio. Humanoid and Advien could only catch a Scuttle Crab. No XL members overstepping, overstaying. And the dragon should be secured for XL. Mid lane tower, though, for Fnatic.
The best trade that Fnatic can really look to get as XL find themselves with a big win in that last fight. Humanoid needs to be careful here, though. He does have the support of Advien right behind him. And he will be able to steal away the Raptors. But Fnatic, while they do have the gold lead, fall behind in terms of Drakes. But it's a dead even game for the most part in this early game, which largely benefits XL. We talked about their scaling advantage, the Rod of Ages, slowly starting to stack it for VTO as he is getting ever closer to level 13. As a reminder, for those, when you look at the overlay, you can see that little pink bar next to the champion icons. But let's have a look at this engage from Razork. He throws the ultimate onto Xerxes. The follow-up is not easy. Oscar doesn't really have anything to follow up with. The Sejuani basically goes in alone. Humanoid's knockback goes onto the Tibbers. And how does Fnatic follow up? We're seeing it in this fight, especially in that narrow choke point. Xerxes and XL just stayed gathered as a little collective meatball, and they made it very difficult for Fnatic to access. They were trying to chip away at XL, whereas Razork really tried to kick the fight off, and it just felt a disjointed fight for Fnatic.
And it's the second time we've seen Razork look for an engage like that, and then Fnatic not be able to follow up. The Rift Herald fight was one earlier where he used Glacial Prison, and then no one was in range. Perhaps just some teething issues here for Fnatic, but perhaps a sign of not quite being on the same page yet. However, they are still in an okay position as they look towards this top lane. Oscar is going to have to get away here. Xerxes trying to chase him off. as XL try and cull the wave. Meanwhile, olvides down towards the bottom side. Glacial Prison just wide. Xerxes does have the flash. Explosive cast actually burns the flash from Oscar in. Would have been knocked under the tower with no minions there. That mini Gnar would have fallen pretty quickly. XL doing a good job of defending their towers here. They've got the monkey set up. They're shooting down all the balloons as quickly as they can. At the moment, those towers are still standing.
That they are.
Or this one.
This one, as one will fall on the bot side in favor of olvides. Yeah, pretty even game to start things off. I think that the game is looking very good for XL overall, though. Yep. What we've seen from them, their bot lane seems very stable. There's been a lot of attacks towards the bot side of the map, and Limit, well, he has been the factor that's been killed a lot. I wouldn't entirely blame him for that.
Like, yeah, you're going to kill it. You're going to kill a Zeri or an Annie.
Yeah, he's been focused a lot by Fnatic, and the fact that he's the only one dying in these situations, and XL have been able to trade back a lot, you know, 1-for-1 often for his life, so, and they're keeping hold of their towers for the time being. So XL looking pretty good in this early game. A lot of the advantage sitting on olvides right now, and it's going to be difficult for Fnatic to really deal with him. The only real advantage is they do have a lot of peel and kite back in their composition. Xayah and Taliyah love it when you come into them because of things like the feathers and the... well, I always remember it as like the W from Taliyah. I don't remember the name.
What,
where she throws all the pebbles on the ground.
Unraveled Earth?
Is that the one where it's called?
Because their passive is worked ground, yeah. So it's Threaded Volley, Unraveled Earth, Seismic Shove, Weaver's Walk.
Oh yeah, there you go. Look at you, play-by-play knowing all the things.
Sometimes it's my job. I will say, I think for Fnatic, even though they're in a, like, XL are in a good position, Fnatic are also in a pretty strong position when you look at where their gold is, right? You've got 2 items already finished on Humanoid, you've got 2 items already finished on Reckless. He's 1,600 gold ahead, and although he didn't have an incredible winter split, none of Fnatic had an incredible winter split, Reckless in the past was a player who could carry from this sort of situation. True. The question is whether he still is that player. We haven't seen that player in a while, let's be honest, but if I were to pick a player on Fnatic that I was going to give a ton of gold and say, hey, try and carry late game team fights, Reckless would probably be that player.
I mean, Humanoid, of course.
Humanoid, of course, as well, yes.
Zero other option.
One of their 2 carries, they both have quite a bit of gold, so it's okay, you know?
We'll see if they're able to do it, though. I think that XL's comp makes it that much harder. We've already seen a few examples of the fights. The next dragon spawns in about a minute's time. Humanoid.
Oh, flash body slam, explosive cask available as well. Humanoid's going to get knocked back here. Chaos Storm ticking, and that will be enough. Humanoid killed off in the top lane. As Xerxes finds his man. Well played by him. The flash body slam perfectly placed.
Yeah, really well executed there by Xerxes. The fact that Humanoid couldn't react in time, he does flash, but that just sets up Xerxes for the ultimate to follow up. Means that it's an easy kill, and it's just Humanoid overstepping his bounds. He often does this. He tries to interrupt your backs, tries to get whatever little damage he can, and it all makes him a very talented laner, but sometimes can mean an easy punish for a waiting jungler, which is exactly what Xerxes did. 5-3 is now the kill score, a 1k gold lead. Well, a little bit over that in favor of XL. And Lichbane second for VTO. Not something you often see on Victor. Sometimes you will see it here and there, but just makes your Q that bit stronger.
Does give you quite a lot of damage, and it feels like the last couple of minutes have been Fnatic trying to get top tier 1 and just waiting for the dragon to spawn, and XL saying, okay, we'll defend top tier 1 and we'll just farm the rest of the map, right? Get more items, get Patrick up to 2 items as well. As you say, VTO 2.5 with a needlessly large rod, and once again, will you join us for the LEC and the LEC A-Ramp as everyone pushes into the mid lane. Glacial Prison already used, Patrick trying to dodge away, Razzle dashing in, but Patrick half HP, no one on Fnatic really burnt down too much. Radiant Virtue healing them up as well from Razork's ultimate. No Glacial Prison for him though, and look at the side of XL. Still every single ultimate available for them if Fnatic decide to take this fight. Weaver's Wall comes down. Fnatic split off VTO from the rest of his team. I don't know if they know that VTO isn't there. Dragon started now by XL as Fnatic try and close in. How long? Half the timer left on the Glacial Prison. If Fnatic can delay and get that ultimate back up, maybe they can look for a re-engage, but so far they have been struggling around objectives like this. XL once again in a good position, shepherding Fnatic into the pit. Oscar in nowhere near the Mega Gnar, slowly building it up, a third of the way there. olvides putting its face into his opposition as Humanoid caught out. Reckless gets the dragon for Fnatic. Humanoid on the backline being isolated. Oscar in trying to do what he can against 3 members of XL. Fnatic have already lost 1 as Humanoid is down. Oscar in builds up the Mega Gnar, and XL are on the wrong side of the rift. Razzle going forward, hits the stun onto VTO. Oscar in trying to get in, but once again, the Gnar falls short, and Fnatic fall down. Reckless dives in, stunned up, locked up, shut down. Fnatic all in pieces as XL start to close in around them once again. Advienne has to flash away. Oscarinin has the dash, has flash in 2, and will escape. The dragon secured for Fnatic, but XL are looking for a much bigger objective.
Fnatic just can't find the fight, and you can see Reckless at the last part trying to secure a kill, diving in, looking for some opportunity. But it was an overcommitment. The chain CC comes through from Limit. XL hold their ground, and now they start the Baron. Razork still alive, has the flash, has the smite. Will this be stolen away?
Odoamne's got to try and do everything he can to stop Razork getting into that pit. Xerxes is low, Odoamne's low as well, though, as Razork continues to push forward. XL peel off the Baron, and they invested 2 TPs into trying to start it. They couldn't find it. Fnatic hold their ground.
Fnatic doing a good job of buying time and preventing the Baron. Let's have a look at this one. The immovable wall that is Odoamne dives immediately onto the backline. He just does not care. There is not enough peel to protect him. You can see Oscarinin focusing down Xerxes on the right-hand side. That initial stun coming out to Reckless. So far in this fight, he hasn't seen an opportunity to actually deal any damage. He's just been trying to avoid the Tibbers. Then Razork goes in over the wall. Oscarinin tries to follow up with the ultimate. Gets bopped by Xerxes. Misses the ultimate. And you can see here, Reckless sees an opportunity. Gale forces in, but then the stopwatch from Xerxes means that there's no target for him to focus. The stun from Odoamne, the stun from Limit, and then the execution from Patrick. The idea promising. As you can see, the ultimate's still available for Reckless. Get that kill, ulti up, maybe flash out, get away to safety. But the chain CC from Odo, who's been having an incredible game 1, as XL continue to grow their lead.
Yeah, Odo and Xerxes doing such a good job of controlling space in these fights. Xerxes with the bop on towards Oscarinin. Probably would have only been him caught in the Gnar. It came out from the Fnatic top laner, but all of XL having a very strong start to spring. What it means in terms of the grand scheme of things, we'll have to wait at least 3 more weeks to see, but for the moment, solid play. Pretty good macro as well. Played through the
look at the bright side for XL. They could at least match their record from last split if they win this game.
We made playoffs easier and they still missed it.
I am aware. Fnatic missing their first ever playoffs last split. Definitely a downfall for the organization, and so far not a great start. This composition has been difficult for them to execute some early leads. Just going in.
Limit with the Tibbers over the wall. Oscarinin back. He tried to dash, he tried to dive away, but XL were not going to let him escape. Odoamne now stepping forward for the chase as well. Xerxes looking for that flank position. Reckless pops the feathers up, making sure that he is safe as houses, but for the moment, Fnatic a member down, and XL turning their eyes towards the Baron.
Yep, they have a numbers advantage. Razork's still alive. VTO going to look to try and chip away at the HP bars rather of Fnatic. Odoamne on guard duty as well. Humanoid looking for an angle in. Does have the ultimate.
Razork still has the flash here. Weaver's Wall separates VTO and Limit. It's only Patrick and Xerxes in the pit now. Xerxes down to half HP. The Weaver's Wall goes down. Xerxes still getting chipped away. 2,000 HP on the Baron. Glacial Prism. Patrick cleanses it. The stun onto Razork as he's trying to dive through the unraveled earth. Once again, back to the Baron. Go XL. They'll land the smite. Xerxes takes it. Fnatic will look for the fight. Stepping forward. Only Razork on the front line right now. Odoamne is going to use that empowered recall to get out. Xerxes slows them with the barrel as well. And this tower that they spent so long defending is still there to protect them, Betty.
XL, they played the patience game and walked away the victors. You can see this engage from Xerxes. Just clean Gragas gameplay. The chain CC.
Doesn't get a moment.
Did he do that on purpose?
Yes.
I mean, the interrupt onto Oscarinin's E was really what cemented it. You can see that originally it seemed like he was just going for a bit of chip damage. I don't think that they actually fully wanted to commit. They just wanted to kind of force Oscarinin back, but the second that the Tibbers landed, and then the follow-up from Patrick as well, he was like, oh, we can actually get the kill here. And then just a beautifully timed ultimate works out nicely for XL. And now with the Baron there.
Reckless was here with the Q3. He has to pop the ultimate here to get away from the Tibbers. Flashes as well, but Odoamne is going to pull him back with the all-out blade caller coming in. Odoamne just soloing out the enemy AD carry. A little bit of help from Limit, it seems, but Odoamne is on a rampage. He does not want spring to be the same as winter. A new day has dawned for him, it seems. And Odoamne 5-0 now on the Cassante. He is sending a message to Fnatic.
An incredible performance from Odoamne in game 1. He started off winter strong, and he's looking to do the same thing here in spring. As you rightly said, they have the Baron, they have the TPs, the Dragons up, but they don't care. XL looking to get their first win of spring. And it's only 3 members of Fnatic standing in their way.
Odo just tanking the tower here. Razor's taken down a little bit. Oscar Inen has to dash away as well, and Odo is still tanking. This man just refuses to die. Razor can at the end force dash away. Oscar Inen caught underneath his Nexus towers that have already been raised to the ground. And XL will match Winter. They claim their first win of spring.